Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another market close. The mic should be better now. Just changed the mic. This has been an exciting day. This has been a very, very exciting day for a variety of reasons. I'm not muted. I'm not muted, dude. I hate you guys so much. And the reason it's been exciting primarily is because Bitcoin has run pretty aggressively to that 70K level, came right back down to 67K. And right now trying to make a run back at that 70K level. So right here, what we're looking at here on Bitcoin is 69,400. It's up 3% in the day. What was crazy is we got to 70K on the morning open. We actually went to like 70,200. And then there was a nice red candle all the way to 66 grand. And we're back up to 69.4. So let's see on the market close. Maybe we can try to hit 70,000 again. It's not going to be easy, but if we can, it would be exciting. Robinhood also hit a high of 1760, then it collapsed back to 1697. Still up 3% on the day, but it was up 7% at one point. CleanSpark maintained its run. They were up, they were at 23. Now they're at 20. They're up 12% on the day. MicroStrategy as well, up 8% right now. Coinbase, $5 above IPO price. They hit a high of 270 today. Absolutely incredible stuff by Coinbase. And then in the middle of the day, what was really, really exciting is Nvidia dropped 5%. So Nvidia hit a high of 974. There were definitely people buying it at 950, 960 for it to get to 974. Now it's back at 882. And it was at 882 last time. Let me just see right here. I think it was a couple of days ago. It was at this level. Nvidia 882 this week. Last time it was there, it was March 6th. So basically, yeah, 2 days ago. So it's back to levels from 2 days ago. But the fact that it even broke 950 was just incredible. So we're going to be talking about that, all that stuff, and get into what's happened with Palantir as well. It fell a little bit today and keep going from there. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the 147 fake people on X for being here as well. I know Elon's pumped up the numbers really well. And so thank you for all the fake people on X that are here. Because we know you're not here. But thank you all for being here. It's so incredible, dude. Elon's great. Eric Wood, Carl, Valerio, June, what's up? Belly Pork, can't wait till Monday market open. We're so excited for Monday now. We're trying to end up Friday. We're so excited for Monday. Brian, Broccoli Bob, I'm not muted at all, so don't tell me to unmute because I'm not muted. It's not happening. I'm not falling for that. Damien, Nick Piercy, Kelly, hello. Even though you said I'm muted as well. Eric Wood, Amid is like Bloomberg played at 1.5x. Dude, the new people that have been joining the channel, they've been like, oh, you're so fast. And I'm afraid to go slow because I don't want to waste people's time. So that's why I'm so fast for anyone who's new here. But also, I guess those people just haven't like been used to someone who speaks really quick. Vince, Mayor, Damien, Eric, Jay Schwash, Andrew, ET, thank you all for being here today. Charlie from Twitter says we are not fake. Yeah, Charlie, you might not be fake, but the 210 people that joined in 3 minutes on Twitter. Look, YouTube, I trust YouTube numbers, but Twitter, it's so annoying, dude. Seeing either it's a bug or they genuinely think that we're all like monkeys and that we believe that these numbers are real when they're not, because we know they're not. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. Persian Prince, Smokey, what's up? Julian, Hertui Cat, Leslie, Eric Smith, Sam. Thank you all for being here today. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Sherry says, I always watch you on X. Yeah, Sherry, I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who watches me on X, which is why I'm still streaming there. But I do know that these numbers are a bit juiced up, dude. Like, I know that the numbers are a bit juiced up. Okay, so Bitcoin. I think that's the story of the day in terms of what's happening. Again, we had 70,000. We have 9 minutes of the market close, and then we went right back down, and we are back at the 69 level. Bitcoin and Nvidia really are the stories of the day, and if the market can continue this run, let's get a little bit of an update on what's going on in particular with the market run with Bitcoin. Here is Tom Lee, who was on CNBC today, and let's get his thoughts on where he thinks this market rally is continuing to go.
Today's intraday action may be a little bit disconcerting for some. Is the leadership still intact, though, for the markets overall?
Dom, I think it's a good question because the market is extended and it is a mature rally. We're going to be entering our 20th week next week, but I think we should be giving the stock market the benefit of the doubt. So today, stocks are wobbling. Not a surprise that there is some profit taking. We did actually have a good jobs number, so I'm probably saying one eyebrow is raised because we're selling off on good news. But with margin debt where it is, and I think the earnings backdrop being so strong, and the Fed confirming that they're leaning towards cuts this year, I think the backdrop, as you noted earlier, is still very good for equities.
What exactly is going to drive that? And we've talked about this idea. It could be underlying earnings growth. It might be the idea of people paying more for that dollar of earnings expected, multiple expansions, so to speak. What's the big tailwind that you see coming up for the markets overall?
It's really all three. I think there is upside to earnings. Earnings beat by 7% in the first quarter, so you're already one quarter in. If consensus is 245, well, that means there could be $10, $15 of upside for just this year on earnings alone. On risk premia, which is what you should put as a PE multiple. Well, if the Fed starts cutting and the economy's resilient, the PE is only 15 times ex FANG. And the third is really flows. There's still $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines. Margin debt is barely budged. It's below where it was in October 2023, which was just a few months ago. So I don't think investors are necessarily that risk on. I mean, I know the market is technically overbought, but Mark Newton, our head of technical strategy, says you don't really want to be, using an overbought as actually a sell signal, because strong markets stay strong.
Tom, you mentioned the idea that leverage isn't what it used to be at points in the past. Does that take a massive market decline off the table? And if we did get a decline, how big in your mind could it be?
For now, I think it does mitigate downside, because when leverage is low, like margin debt at the NYSE, it means investors aren't long, yet the backdrop is improving. So that means they have to use these pullbacks as chances to get long. But at the same time, we expect an air pocket in the first half, something like 7% or more. It's just that there's so many top callers now that I think that's why there's still gas in the tank on this rally.
All right. And last question. We have a few moments. The favorite part of the market for you, given the current valuation?
Well, there's what I think are 5 things that are working this year. I don't want to talk about all 5, but to me, we know that technology and FANG, including Nvidia, are working because of AI. And I think that's also pulling up, the miners and Bitcoin, because they are kind of correlated trades. The second thing that seems to be working are things that are related around Ozempic and reducing weight loss because of the productivity benefit to workers. But to me, the third, maybe most interesting, is small caps. We think there's 50% upside this year. They're trading at 44% of the price to book of large caps. So I do think that's really one of the sleeper stories this year.
So Tom continuing to be bullish about this small cap sector. And I mean, look, the small caps have definitely proven to be pretty well. IWM right here, 206 is red for the day. It was indeed green at one point. It's just not green anymore. But it broke out to 209 at one point. Now, Arthur in the chat has a very interesting point. And that point is about, that when everyone thinks there's a bull market, there is, that's the moment when a crash happens. I don't know, dude. I talked to a bunch of people today. I think this is going to be an astonishing bull market. Gene Munster as well had a really good point. I want to play what he said. But it is one of those things where, when everyone thinks that that's happening in terms of like a super, super bullish market, it could also get pretty ugly. And it can get pretty ugly because not everyone is expecting a rug pull. Like Nvidia today was a rug pull. If you bought Nvidia at 950 chasing it, you got pulled, dude. I mean, 875 right now. I know it's at these levels from 2 days ago, and maybe it makes a run at 900 again. But even yesterday night, on overnight trading, when I saw Robinhood show Nvidia at 950, I could not understand it, dude. I was just like, what? This is insane. Like, this is just too much. And I think the market today responded. Even Palantir was at 27.44. Now it's at 26.09. I bought like another 15 shares of Palantir at this 26.09 range earlier today. I tweeted about it. But I mean, I don't know, dude. It's one of those things where we could see a 10% pull down pretty easily. But I also think Nvidia back to 900, Palantir to 28.29. That's not insane to think as well. Someone says, what are my favorite small caps? I think right here, this bad boy Robinhood is my favorite small cap. Now, look, it's not a small cap at 14 billion, but if you take away the cash, it's at 8 billion. I think 8 billion for what Robinhood's offering. Dude, their Q1 earnings are going to smash so hard. Those Q1 numbers are going to be insane. They're going to be like redonkulous, dude. They're going to like, and I don't know if the street expects it or not, but like the fun thing about this is that when Bitcoin gets to 70, 80K, this thing's, I mean, again, the street's going to realize that Robinhood's making a crap ton of crypto revenue. But on top of that, their user numbers are going to be insane because so many people are signing up for Robinhood for the first time and opening up their accounts. And that's going to lead to more deposits. Like, it's going to be amazing. But we got to close over 17. Let's see if we can actually close above 17 today. We got 3 minutes and see where that goes. Bitcoin, 69,233. If Bitcoin can now form a base at 69, it's been stuck at 67 to 68 for the past week and a half. Even if we just stay at the 69 to 70 range for the rest of the weekend, maybe when the ETFs open up again on Monday, because there's no ETF inflow over the weekends, then we have a lot more momentum coming in for Bitcoin. But again, my favorite small caps have been companies that have a catalyst. And I think the crypto companies have a big catalyst, which is Bitcoin. And they're also relatively small. I mean, CleanSpark, $4 billion. Should it be worth $4 billion? Probably not. But it has a catalyst. There's a narrative associated with it. If Bitcoin goes higher, their literal revenue and margins increase dramatically. And so that's like the catalyst. And then it's not, Apple at 3 trillion. So there's a reason the market might rotate into that. Mag 7 today, red day outside of Apple. They were up 1%. Google rebounded a little bit. Google should rebound. I mean, it's been down 15% over the past couple of weeks. Amazon's down. Nvidia was down 5%. Tesla cannot get a break, dude. You would think on one of the biggest green days, or at least even when the rally was green at like 12 p.m., Tesla still was down 2%, continuing to be down 2% right now as well. So, I mean, we're going to see how it plays out, but it definitely does seem like a little bit of small cap rotation is happening. And if that rotation continues to happen, then it's going to be exciting to see which companies ultimately get the benefit from those small caps going down, or from the small caps continuing to go up. Bellypork says on the hood waiting list in UK. I got a lot of people that texted me over the weekend or over the past couple of days that said they're off the wait list now. So I'm sure you'll be off the wait list soon. And yeah, a lot of people started using it. And so that also is going to increase deposits, increase gold membership revenue. They have that big gold event coming up March 26th. Like, I just think that it's going to be a pretty good quarter for them. And the street's going to be like, holy crap, how did we not see this? Which is what happened with Coinbase, dude. Hood's going to pull a Coinbase. I don't know if it goes 7x, but I definitely think 25 is out of it. We're going to crush that soon enough. And so it'll be cool to see when that plays out. Even SoFi, my SoFi leaps are up about like 13% today. SoFi's up 3%. So SoFi as well got some momentum. Okay, here we go. It is 4 p.m. Friday, March 8th. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me today. The market is now closed. There we go. We've got a closed market, folks. Bitcoin, 69,218 at the market close, even though Bitcoin is not going to stop because this thing operates forever. SoFi up 3%. Snapchat up. Wow. Why is Snapchat up 4.5%, dude? What is the catalyst for this? Is how you know it's a rally, dude. Snapchat should not. Why is Snapchat like how much more stock-based compensation does Evan Spiegel need to do for investors to just get done with Snapchat? Like, they're just going to keep buying his stock. When it gets this low, they keep buying it back. Meta down a little bit today. Coinbase again, phenomenal day, 256. It's officially above its IPO price. Netflix, 605. DraftKings, wow. DraftKings has been stuck in this $40 range for a while. They did that acquisition of Jackpocket, which is this lottery app thingy online. So that kind of messed them up in terms of the amount of money they had to spend. But that one is down. Dogecoin up about 3%. Shiba Inu up about 6%. Robinhood closed at 17. We're at 16.98 after hours, but we did close at 17. That's positive. That's very positive. First $17 close in basically 2.5 years. Incredible for Robinhood. That's great. Tesla down 1.85%. Where's Palantir? Probably at 26.90, 26.04. Never mind. 26.04. Okay, so down 1.61% on the day. Again, that AIP con I thought was phenomenal. Wedbush increased the price target to 35 for a reason, but it's going to be tough getting to stabilize at 27.28, especially if Nvidia continues to pull back a little bit, because I think it kind of moves with the broader AI market. Right now, Palantir is one of the best AI plays, but I don't think the market considers it fully an AI play yet, the way they think of Nvidia as an AI play, which is fair because Nvidia's GPUs, but eventually they will. Speaking of Palantir, we got some news on Palantir. Do you guys remember the YouTuber Chicken Genius? He had some interesting stuff to say. Hey, Amit, will Bitcoin hit 75,000 this weekend? I don't know. I think it's possible. Like anything's possible with Bitcoin. It's fun. That question's just funny because it's like I don't know. But I do think it's going to be harder to break through that 70,000 range because ETFs aren't operating on the weekend, so there's no inflows, right? So retail would have to push it up higher. Here's okay. So Chicken Genius tweeted something today that got people a little upset. Let me show everybody this. Thank you everybody for joining me on YouTube. 634 of you on YouTube. I know you're actually here on YouTube, so thank you for being here on YouTube, where we can actually know that you're here. Chicken Genius said today, Palantir is the worst possible AI investment. Glad I sold out. He sold out at $9, by the way. So yeah, if your idea is to ride the AI wave, dump that shit. Why is that so funny, dude? Why is someone saying dump that shit so funny? I can imagine it in his accent saying dump that shit. Every other AI investment I did outperformed. Nvidia, OLAS, and a ton of AI projects outperformed. Investing into other AI projects soon on my public wallet. It just reeks of a little jealousy, a little I missed out, a little bit like I don't get why you say worst possible AI investment. There's not even an argument there. I mean, you can make a decent claim that Palantir is not going to capitalize off the AI momentum that's happening. I mean, you can make an argument that AIP might be commoditized and that Foundry is not that special. They're not that good arguments, but you can make that argument. At least there's some substance there. He's just like, no, bad company. And I thought that was funny. So I just quote tweeted LMFAO. That's it. That's all I did. And then I said, not all chickens are geniuses. That's it. So that I think we all can agree. Not all chickens are. He also bought Rivian and sold Tesla. He said Rivian was going to 50. Yeah, that didn't happen. But that is what we got from Chicken Genius today. And it was interesting to see how that plays out. The only reason I'm talking about it is because, look, it was funny, dude. I mean, this guy is influential in the context of it. Like, dude, that's 300,000 subscribers. Like, someone who has that much influence. And we're going to talk about Dan Ives. We can also talk about other people in the retail community that have influence on retail investors. So it was interesting to see someone with that influence just blatantly say he was a fan of Palantir in 2021. He was actually very bullish on it. He made some good videos highlighting their importance. Chicken Genius has basically become someone who shills crypto coins. And I'm not even saying this as like shade to him. I don't really care. Like, I don't know the guy but like he's big into these random altcoins. And whenever an influencer is super big on pumping an altcoin, to me, it's a pump and dump. And like, you know, that's the sad part about a lot of what these guys do. They really don't care that they have this much influence. All they care about is that, you know, they can pump up whatever coin they got. So that's what Chicken Genius said. But maybe not all chickens are always geniuses. Yeah, glad I sold out of 9 instead of 26. Like that just it's just like you can admit when you're wrong sometimes. People don't want to admit when they're wrong, dude. Like, it's weird. Because I'll tell you on the stream right now, I'm a fucking idiot sometimes with some of the, and I think that's actually the key to like eventually not being an idiot, is just like admitting sometimes you don't know. Like, is Bitcoin going to 75,000 this weekend? I don't know. Maybe, like maybe not. But like you can't know everything. And it's weird because as a someone, sometimes when you develop an audience, you feel like you have to know. It's like, no, you don't. It's like not everyone knows everything. You're trying your best. Rivian did have a good day though. It was up 1281, up 0.23%. At one point it was up 4%, but then it sold off a little bit. Rivian unveiled those vehicles yesterday, and that's what got the market super excited. SMCI down 1% today, 1138. They touched 1200 at one point. PayPal didn't move because, you know, PayPal doesn't move ever. So there is no PayPal, or there is no movement on PayPal. ARM was down 6.65% today. And then we got Matterport that was down. Well, that Matterport was flat. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust was up 2% today. They've been doing a lot more outflows of their Bitcoin. And then obviously Coinbase here at 257 now, up 0.34% after hours. Peter Girardi says, bro, I'm telling you, Hood is not a Bitcoin proxy. After what I just went through with them, bought 0.5 Bitcoin. They froze my account and it can only take 5K out a day. Serious Bitcoin traders, this won't work. So I think you answered your own question in this comment. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Serious Bitcoin traders are not going to use Robinhood, which is the majority of retail. And so that's the conclusion I came to. The majority of retail just wants to buy it at, I don't know, let's say 72,000 and they'll sell it at 78,000, right? Or 74,000. Like, if you're super serious about Bitcoin, you're not using Robinhood anyway. I'm okay with that because I don't think Robinhood's going after that person. Robinhood's going after the person that's just trying to chase, and they're going after the waitress that like heard about Bitcoin going up and they want to get some exposure. And like, those are the accounts they're going for. And then they're trying to lock them into gold membership. They're trying to lock them into the credit card. They're trying to do all these different things to keep them in the financial ecosystem. And they're trying to make it fun. Dude, I set up a Schwab account yesterday just for the hell of it. It was the most like ugly experience I have been through signing up for a brokerage. I mean, it was just, I don't know how people use Schwab. And I was thinking like, maybe I should just throw some money in there. Like it was disgusting, dude. So for I think a certain subset of the population that wants investing to be fun, Schwab, Fidelity, Coinbase, these things are not necessarily the easiest. Coinbase with the fees. I think Robinhood's going to just capitalize on those people. And so it'll be easy. But we'll see. Hood sucks. It can't even break 20 while Coinbase is at 50. You got to remember, Coinbase being at 250 is a direct proxy off of Bitcoin going up, because Coinbase literally prints profits when Coinbase goes up, when Bitcoin goes up. Robinhood will print revenue, but they're not going to print the insane amount of profits that Coinbase does. So Coinbase deserves to go up, but your price target doesn't need to be, $100 for Robinhood. I think 25 is reasonable, and and it's already run up 75%, right? So it's already run up a lot, but assuming it can go to 25, I think is reasonable. And that's probably what we're going to see happen next quarter as Bitcoin and crypto revenues start to go up and user growth starts to go up. And if not next quarter, I definitely think by the end of the year, that's possible. But could we get a 10% drawdown next week and things kind of take a pull? Yeah, 100%. And if Bitcoin falls back to 65, 64, Robin is probably falling back to 15. So a lot of this rests on Bitcoin. Salvatore says, Amit, you need a PhD to execute an options contract on Schwab. Yeah, dude, even searching for a ticker, I was just like, this is so weird. It just wasn't native to me. And that's when I really started to capitalize on Robinhood's mode as well. I was like, wait a second. I would never use this. And I'm sure a lot of people like me would never use this. And I probably will throw some money in Schwab just for the hell of it. But it was one of those things where I was like, this is just not user-friendly at all. Jensen sold. Where's the news? Nvidia's Jensen Huang. I didn't see that news. Let me check Twitter. I'm pretty sure. Dude, I wouldn't blame him. Can you really blame Jensen Huang if he sells today? No one in their right mind should blame this guy if he sells. Jensen Huang sells. Let's see. I don't see anything yet. Let me check my other. I just noticed on Webull you can actually get updates from people if they sell. Let's see. Financials, news, releases, March 6th. Yeah, I don't see it right now. A bunch of officers sold, but I don't see Jensen selling. He probably did sell, but if he did, it is what it is. Let me check Nvidia investor relations. Yeah, let me check Nvidia investor relations real quick, because it would be interesting. Maybe Jensen caused the dump intraday if he offloaded a lot. News, financial info, SEC filings. Okay, statements of changes of benefit. Today's March 8th, right? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Did Jensen sell? Jensen sold. Oh boy. Wait, no. I don't think he actually sold. I think he sold just to pay for taxes. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. It doesn't look like he legit sold. It looks like he picked up his options. So Jensen Huang, I'm pretty sure this is President CEO. Yeah. So yeah, he picked up 200,000 shares at a $0 price. You see how it says securities acquired? So it looks like he exercised options, which means maybe he had to sell to be able to pay for those, but it looks like he exercised his options actually as well. Dude, look, I wouldn't blame Jensen for selling, but also why would you sell, dude? This thing's just not stopping. Jensen Huang, by the way, is worth 80 billion now after the recent run up. This dude has a legitimate chance of becoming a trillionaire. So it's going to be really interesting to see if any of the insiders in Nvidia offload a lot, because I don't know if they would. Amit, are you married with the ring? No, I just wore this morning. I just saw it this morning and I was like, I'm just going to put this on. That's all. This is a $2 ring from Amazon, dude. I'm cheap, guys. I'm not cheap. I don't want to say I'm cheap because I spend on other people. I buy my sister food all the time. I'm not a cheap person, but when it comes to myself, I don't buy stuff. I just don't buy shit. Hey, can you put the link in again for the chat for Palantir shirts? Yes, let me do that. So my boy Ryan, not sponsored by him or anything, he has this website where he's selling Palantir shirts. I think we sold out all of his shirts the other day. Let me get the link and put it again in the chat if anyone wants to pick those up. Okay, I'll pull it up in a second. It's just in my email. Why does your sister need you to buy her food all the time? It's not, you know what I mean, dude? If I'm out, I'll call her. I'll be like, hey, do you want something? I'm not the type of cheap where I wouldn't spend $30 on my sister because I'm trying to save $30. That's what I'm trying to say. But when it comes to me, and when it comes to me on food too, I'll spend $30. Food is one of those things I don't stress about. Like if I get a latte, I'm not stressed about the $5, $6. Like that's not the type of stress I am. But when it comes to other things, I don't spend. I don't do it. But when it comes to food, I kind of don't care. Okay, Bitcoin 69,294 right now. Apple 170. Let's get an update on some of the macro stuff that's going on in this market and if this stuff is kind of sustainable. Let's start off with Nvidia, and let's take a little bit of a listen to this. There we go.
Our talk of the tape bubble trouble and whether the once soaring semis are now in danger of an even bigger pullback. Let's ask star chip analyst Stacy Rasgon of Bernstein. He does join us now. It's good to have you back. It is stunning to watch what's taking place today in this market. Stacy, Nvidia, a $100 intraday move, almost 10%. What do you make of it?
Look, so I was joking earlier that like maybe some of these just flew a little too close to the sun for a bit. I mean, like semis have still had a monster year. They're up 20% year to date. They're up 70%, something like that, year over year. Nvidia itself is up 80% year to date still. So like I don't worry too much. Some of this is probably kicked off. You know, we had Marvell and Broadcom report last night, and actually their AI revenues were quite strong, but the core businesses were not so good for either of them. You know, enterprise spending and the like, carrier spending are not great. And so I think that kind of weighs on it. And then people, I think, we're just looking at Nvidia in particular getting awfully close to that sort of magical, you know, $4-figure $1,000 kind of number. And maybe there's a little bit of profit taking and it kind of sets everything else down. But like, I'll be honest, like this on a noisy day like this, I don't read too much into it. Like I said, the space has still had a monster year. And I still think some of the markets, especially the AI related markets, still have legs to them. I think those still have room. Now we can talk about some of the other markets.
Well, I do want to do that. I do want to do that in a moment. But when you say something like the core businesses of these companies, you know, for the ones that reported not so good, this market has ignored in many respects the core businesses of many of these companies, and they've gotten this AI halo from Nvidia. Did we overdo it in giving too much of a bump relative to AI when it's not that big a part of business for many of these other chip players?
Yes, possibly. Like in my coverage, there are two names that actually have meaningful AI revenues. That's more than just a story. That's actually contributing meaningfully to their numbers. It's Nvidia and Broadcom, and not a whole lot of others, right? Again, you can even look at an AMD, and AMD is doing really well, but as a percentage of the revenue, it's not that big, and it has not been enough to offset weakness. You know, the stock's been great, like don't get me wrong, but they're like AMD's missed numbers like every quarter for the last year. You got names like Marvell last night, where again, like their forward guidance was very weak. You know, AI was not enough to make up the difference. Broadcom was kind of the opposite. I mean, Broadcom took maybe $2.5 billion of incremental headwind like out of their core business versus last quarter. But they had like their AI business was stronger by exactly the same amount. It was actually enough to bridge the gap and offset it. And because of that, like our Broadcom numbers last night went up.
Someone in the chat says the crazy thing is Nvidia is cheap when you look at the peg. I agree, dude. And that's why it's just like, it's just stupid at some point. It's like, can this rally keep running? Yeah. Just like what the guy's saying right here. It's like, yeah, Broadcom missed on some of the numbers, and we saw that dip last night, but those numbers weren't that bad. All right, let's look at some positions in the Roth. So here we go. The Beto calls we bought for $35 calls. Those are up 40%. When did we buy these? We bought these, the first time we bought these are on February 28th. So we literally bought them like 10 days ago. And so we're up 3,300 on those in the Roth. So we got the Beto $35 calls. We paid an average of $415 for them. They're worth $580. Let's simulate the returns. If Bitcoin gets to, let's say these expire January 2025. So let's be optimistic first. Let's say Bitcoin gets to, let's say Bitcoin gets to 100,000 by January 2025, which I don't know. Let's see if it happens. I think Beto would probably double. It's at 30 right now with Bitcoin at 60. Yeah, I would say the volatility would get it to around that 60, 65 range. And that's probably more than that, which means if that's the case, if we can get it to 60, we have 20 of these bad boys. Even if we hold till expiration, this thing's going to be worth $40,000 in profit. If we hold till January 2025, if that happens by the summer, it'll be about 45,000. Now, if this thing gets to like 70 and Bitcoin gets to 120 and this gets really wonky, then yeah, these gains are going to get pretty crazy. Now, all of this rests on Bitcoin. Beto, again, is a futures a derivative on Bitcoin. So it's basically a way to buy options on Bitcoin without literally buying options on Bitcoin. So this is kind of one of my plays in the Roth. If Bitcoin goes up a lot, this is my leverage play to maintain some momentum on it. I think I have a pretty decent average. I don't think I have a horrible average. But if Bitcoin collapses to like 50K, then yeah, this thing is going to tank underwater. Now, granted, I would buy that dip and see if that's a nice dip to buy, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. And then SoFi, I bought SoFi options in the Roth over the past 2 days. Let's take a look at those. SoFi, I bought 25 $10 calls. Those are up 8%. So this is the 2026 calls, $10. If SoFi is not $10 by 2026, I'm finding the nearest bridge and I'm going to go for a nice walk on that bridge. All right, here we go. So Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, SoFi, we're up $500 on it, 25 contracts. Again, on this one, let's say SoFi gets the $10. We would be up like 4,000 tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen. Let's say reasonably by 2026, I think SoFi's at like $18. We're looking at some decent gains. Even if by expiration, that would be worth 15 grand off of like, I think we spent like 4 grand or something, 3 grand. So SoFi and Beto in the Roth, and we'll see where it goes from there. Nick says, do we get 2.9% for CPI? I think we do if Shelter is not a you-know-what. If Shelter is you-know-what, then we're not going to get 2.9, dude. Shelter is going to push us either higher from 3.1 to 3.2, keep us stuck at 3.1, or barely get us below 3.1 at 3.0. But if Shelter is not that bad, then 2.9 is very possible. But probably not necessarily going to happen soon. So 3.1, yeah, I think 3.1. I think it could be flat. I think it definitely be flat. And if CPI is going to rocket, as someone says in the chat, because of all the shipping issues at the Red Seas, Tesla has to deal with a lot of that supply chain issues. Market's going to pull back, dude. But it's going to be a slight pullback. The thing is, I think the market is bought into the narrative that AI is legitimate. And if that's the case, and that's what the market's bought into, then like CPI doesn't matter because AI in and of itself is going to be deflationary. Here's Gene Munster, who had a really interesting comment on Twitter today about this bubble. So let me show you guys what he said. He said right here, the AI bull market is just beginning. Most investors believe we're already in an AI bubble, given Nvidia is up 103% over the last 3 months and 300% over the past year. By contrast, the NASDAQ is up 14% over the last 3 months and up 42% over the past year. Most of the one-year performance can be attributed to progress made against inflation, impacting interest rate expectations. In other words, outside of a handful of chip stocks, the AI bull market has yet to begin. I believe we're in front of a 3 to 5 year bull market that will end in a spectacular bubble burst. So that's Gene Munster basically saying, hey, we've got 3 to 5 years of this pumping, and then it's going to burst epically. And it's really interesting because it's like if AI actually is what we think it is and it produces the results that we think it's going to produce for the economy, does it have to burst in a spectacular fashion like the dot-com bubble did? Or is it going to be a slow ride up? Or is it actually just going to be a bubble and then the bubble eventually collapses? I mean, this is one of those things I think the market is going to struggle with for the next couple months. Everyone thought by now the market would have had like a 5 to 10% pullback. Even Tom Lee thought we would fall 7% in the past couple weeks, and we've gone up even more. Dude, S&P almost hit 520 today, and the market barely thought we would get to 510 by the end of the year. So we have moved past the craziest expectations. And the problem is, did we get money market updates? Holy crap, I didn't check that. Did we get money market? Oh, wow, we got it. We got an update, folks. All right, what do you think? Did it increase or decrease? What do you think? Did the money markets increase or decrease? Let's see what you guys say in the chat. Let's see what you say in the chat. I have the numbers, and it looks like it's very interesting. Before I show the numbers real quick, we did launch Hobbits.ai today. So that was a new software product. We got some love by the global head of commercial at Palantir, Ted Mabry. He is the global head of commercial, and he here today said that this product looks really cool. He said, this is cool. Those were his 3 words. So thank you, Ted, for that. And that was super awesome. Hobbits.ai launched it today. I think we had like 250 people sign up already. So definitely check it out. It's a custom LLM for Palantir. It was super exciting. I didn't know how the Palantir execs would think about it. I talked to a bunch of Palantir employees and they loved it, but I didn't know what the execs would think because, executives are executives. Sometimes they always think different things, but getting them to say it's cool. I think all of them also realize that Palantir's on a pretty amazing growth trajectory, and having someone kind of cover all the information in one place for Palantir, that would be pretty exciting for them as well. Jay Schwash says, what the F is hobbits.ai? All right, so you missed the market open stream. So go to the website and check it out. Go to the website and check it out. It's a custom LLM for Palantir. All right, money market funds increased 18.65 billion. Last week, they also increased by 50 billion. So everyone who said decreased, you guys were wrong. It increased. That means in the past 2 weeks, it increased by basically $70 billion, which is, it's so weird, dude. I don't understand how the S&P is pumping, how the QQQ is pumping, how Nvidia is pumping, but money markets are at 70 billion. Or they increased by 70 billion in the past 2 weeks. So now we have 6.08 trillion. This either means an epic crash of a different proportion is coming in terms of the magnitude of the crash, or because all this money is going on sidelines, or this money is eventually going to FOMO into Nvidia when it's at like 1,200. Because I think they've already started to FOMO in. So it's such a weird dichotomy. And then we got inflation that we got to deal with. We've got companies like Palantir and Nvidia putting up numbers and performing. And then you've got money market funds that are sitting on the sidelines. You got Bitcoin going to 70K. It is one of the most intricate and Byzantine markets that we've seen, I think, in the past couple of years, dude. Who expected this to happen by March 8th of 2024? I don't think anyone expected it. I don't think anyone expected. Where does this money come from when it increases? Usually, from my understanding, is it's companies that are allocating capital and banks that are putting money for their clients into these funds. It's a lot more institutional than it is retail. But it's also like if you just join, like Schwab yesterday, they were offering me money market funds. So like if I sign up for a Schwab and I'm like someone who is, I'm like 60, 70 years old, I have a couple $1 million, and that's 5% risk free. I'm sure the Schwab and Fidelity money managers are recommending to their clients, hey, this is like if you're managing money and you're a Schwab advisor, Bitcoin, by the way, falling right now, 68,884. You're gonna invest in Apple and Nvidia, but the bulk of your clients' money you're gonna put into something that protects their money, right? Number one rule is do not lose their money. So unless they feel that chasing Apple and Tesla and Nvidia at these prices is attractive, which I don't think any of these money managers think Nvidia is a great deal right now, then that money's going to go into money markets. It's not coming to Nvidia at 950. So the question is, whose money is coming to Nvidia at 950? Is it retail, or is it growth funds that are a little bit more susceptible to risk versus some of these institutions that want to protect money? Maybe it's retail. 111 million shares today. Maybe it's whales. I don't know. But the money is flowing in. The question is just from where is it coming from right now? So money market going up is bearish on equity. Yeah, traditionally money market going up feels a little bit bearish because that means money's going on the sidelines. And if money's being put on the sidelines, it's not being put to use on the market or in the market. Now, granted, we'll see what happens, but money markets have been going up for the past 2 years pretty aggressively. Obviously, the Fed's funds rate is what encourages that. Like when the government's giving you 5.5%, you don't really need to risk going into stocks. The problem is when Nvidia goes up 80% in a month, it makes you feel like, why am I worried about 5%? So this is really for someone who has a lot of money. You have to ask yourself a question. Do I want to risk it, putting it in something like Nvidia and just make a lot more money? Or do I want to save that money and get a reasonable amount of return, which is 5%? And I think that is the push and pull that the market is having right now. And so we'll see, I guess, how it plays out. But it's pretty damn exciting to see where this is going to go. Let's get an update on Apple. Apple green today. It was reversing a red day trend. Let's take a look at Apple, and then we'll keep going from there.
Oh, it's notable that Apple and Alphabet are up in the tape because a lot of the other mega caps, all of them, in fact, are down. We've been highlighting a lot Nvidia in the midday rollover, but Apple's down 7 straight coming into today. That's the longest streak since January of 22. You make of this?
Yeah.
Finally, people have seen enough, I guess.
100%. I think for me, what's interesting is all this news about China, I think, has all been priced into the stock, right? So they're talking about for the first 6 weeks of the year, iPhone sales have been down 24%. They're now 4th place, in mobile sales in China versus number 2 last year. That's all been priced into the stock. They will figure out an AI solution for the iPhone. It's just going to come later on. They're watching everyone else, and that's going to happen. I think that's part of the reason.
Yeah, I mean, the narratives around both Apple and Alphabet, Joe, have been so negative. It's, you know, the story in China for Apple, as Jason was suggesting, and then the AI, you know, rollout debacle for Alphabet can't get out of its own way, but it's getting a bounce today by about 1.5% right now.
It is, and then maybe it's a simple premise. I believe that Nvidia came within $300 billion in its market cap of overtaking Apple for number 2 overall. Mm-hmm. Obviously, now we're seeing a widening of that market cap distance. Look, I like to look at correlations within the market and kind of figure out, okay, what's going on here. It's very interesting that both Apple and Alphabet are higher. Is it just short covering, or is it rotational buying away from semiconductors into what they believe is technology at a reasonable valuation? The last point on all of it is, boy, this is a clear referendum on Tesla, because you're not seeing the type of buying, even if it is short covering, that you're seeing in Apple and Alphabet.
Yeah, Tesla is down near 2%.
I think the dip on Apple as well is like, it's weird, dude, because it's understandable why it's dipped, but the bounce today also made, I think, a lot of people remember it's still Apple at the end of the day. Like, it is still one of the premier companies that people will put their money in. So if Apple collapses to that 150 range, I think there's going to be a lot of buyers on the way down before it gets to 150. And to see Apple go to 150, I think the market would have to take a little bit of a pullback. Like, that's an aggressive turn down for Apple. Bitcoin right now, 69,000, just fell to 68,777. Now trying to get back to that $69,000 range. We got some more clarity on the Nvidia Jensen Huang stocks that he received. So Jensen Huang didn't sell anything. He got 206,000 shares this morning at a price of 0 per share based on the achievement of a pre-established operating plan performance goal during the issuer's fiscal year ended January 28th, 2024. Those 200,000 shares are worth $180 million. So he got 200,000 shares of Nvidia today at a price per 0 based on some performance achievement thingy. And that's a straight 200 million for Jensen Huang. A lot of money. A lot of money. There you go. Dude, imagine 200 million just being dropped in your pocket this morning, dude. Cha-ching, yeah. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's a lot. That's a lot. This is why equity in companies matter so much, dude. I know, like, look, we're not all getting 200 million in Nvidia, but if you got something in Nvidia and you've held it for a while, this is why building up positions in companies that you believe in, like ownership is the basis for wealth. Universally, you got to have ownership in equities and assets. And an asset doesn't just have to be a stock. It could be your own business. It could be your brand, whatever it is. You've got to own it completely, or at least have a part ownership in it. Because if you do, that ownership could be worth a lot more than a salary or anything else. And so it's just crazy to see people, print money like that, like Jensen Huang, who's worked his ass off for 30 years trying to build up that company. That's just part of his pay. Correct. That's just part of his pay. I see a wedding ring on the ring. There's not a wedding ring, guys. This is a $2 ring from Amazon. This is just randomly worn today. It's not a wedding ring. Anusha says, do you think Nvidia will hit 1,000 next week? I think if I had to guess, the market's going to pull back next week. Look, I think we've gone straight up for like 8 weeks now. If I had to guess, I would say, hey, maybe we're going to take a breather. But I said that a couple weeks ago and that didn't happen. So my guess is as good as anyone else's. At this point, when I saw Nvidia go to 950, I could not believe it. I was just like, who is buying this? Like, who's still buying? You would think after being up 70%, you don't go up another 15%. But people are still buying. Now, look, Coinbase could get to fucking 500. Not next week. But the reason that could happen is because Bitcoin is so if Bitcoin is at $100,000, Coinbase's net income is going to be billions and billions of dollars. So that doesn't matter. We're seeing this with MicroStrategy, right? People are like, how is MicroStrategy up from 400 to 1,400? Because they have Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And when Bitcoin goes up, they have 190,000. They're about to buy $600 million more worth of Bitcoin. They're collateralizing the company by issuing stock that it's debt that eventually turns into stock. And they're using that debt to buy more Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up. And then they're just diluting shareholders, but shareholders don't care because Bitcoin goes up, so the stock price goes up. It is an infinite money glitch based on the fundamental premise that Bitcoin will go higher. And if it does, then something crazy like CleanSpark could get up to 30, 40, but all this stuff could happen. But I think the broader markets it would be crazy if Nvidia falls back to like 700, S&P falls back to 500, but Coinbase is at 300, right? Here's the existential question, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Can Bitcoin break out and carry all of the Bitcoin proxy plays with it? while the broader market takes a break? Or is Bitcoin breaking out going to help the broader market, even if the broader market should be taking a break? Or will Bitcoin break out, but the Bitcoin proxies and the broader market fall off because they need to take a break because we know they run so much, but Bitcoin is on an island by itself running up. It's really hard to imagine that third scenario because all these companies know Robinhood's earnings, Coinbase's earnings, CleanSpark earnings are all going to be better if Bitcoin goes higher. So I think those companies have to go up. Even algorithmically, the algorithms know that they're part of these buckets, just like Palantir is part of the AI bucket, right? And so if we have a broader market slowdown, but the Bitcoin proxies go up, that'll be an interesting narrative this year. Endless Awareness says Amit is married to the hustle. Correct. Amit is married to the hustle. That's what we got. Or will the market go up or will it go down? That's also a good question. And I guess no one knows the answer to that, but that's what we're trying to figure out every single day. Brian says he YOLO'd 4,000 on some memes today. With, by the way, that thing I think was up today. With, again, is that coin I told you guys about. It's it went from 100,000 to 2 billion in market cap. Wow, it was up 30% today. Look at this shit, dude. Dog with hat. It's up 30% today. It's at 2.3 billion market cap. It was 100,000 market cap in December. That type of return is just incredible, dude. Absolutely incredible. But it's the meme coin season. That's what we're in. I'm not chasing those coins as attractive as they are because it's just not I don't know, dude. It's just really hard to justify doing it, especially if you go under, which is likely going to happen for a lot of people. But maybe it doesn't happen for a long time. Maybe it doesn't happen for a long, long time. Jamie says, I now own 355 shares of Palantir. The stock better retire me in a few years. I think Palantir over the next decade is going to be really, really exciting. I posted this on Twitter today. Let me show you guys this thing that I posted. Also, we got to talk about one of the things that happened with Robinhood. So this is what I posted today. So I bought 10 shares here. And what I said is the latest AIP presentation is how Palantir is going to hyperscale boot camps to the point where I think anyone believing their 19% growth estimate is likely going to be wrong. We are going to see rapid customer count probably by Q4 this year, but likely by Q1 2025 once pilots have scaled and converted into customers. And their internal AIP they've created that outsources to customers that conduct boot camps for Palantir, like that's going to explode, and it's going to explode at an astronomical rate. So once they figure out how to use their own product to emulate FDEs or forward deployed engineers, it's going to get nutty. Like it's going to get nutty with the Palantir numbers. And so for me, Palantir is one of those things that you just build a position size on and let it. It's one of those things. Hopefully, we wake up in 10 years and it's an Nvidia type return, because once they figure out scale in this market, it's not gonna be small in terms of how fast they grow. It's gonna be fast. Blue Koala says hi. Hello, Blue Koala. Thank you for being here. Amit, you look handsome with the white shirt on. No homo. Thank you, Lussie Picker. I appreciate that. You don't have to say no homo, dude. It's okay. Like I'm homo enough for Carp when I talk, so it's all right. When is the first stock split? If you're saying for Nvidia, there was a report by Bloomberg today that there's probably going to be a stock split at like $1,000. That was rumored by Bloomberg. So that means they're probably talking to some insiders around stock splits. But in the context of Palantir, I don't think we're doing a stock split for a long time. I mean, this we already have so many billions of shares outstanding. But we'll see, if that does happen. Nvidia could split their stock, I think, soon if they rally to 1,000. And I think they would be smart. It's just way too much. It's way too much to stay at that price in the context of just like getting more people to be excited about buying and owning a piece of Nvidia. Also, the job report we got today was also interesting for the market because it rose unemployment even though we added more jobs. So that was another thing the market's trying to figure out, like, how do we reconcile that? How do we deal with that? Palantir U.S. commercial revenue will probably grow 100% year over year. I think that's possible. They guided for 40%. If that's at like 50, 60, dude, the market's good. It's kind of like Robinhood to me, dude. Like the simple comparison here is if Robinhood puts up, like their February numbers are going to come out. They did 5.9 billion in crypto notional trading volumes in January. If they put up like 7.5 billion in crypto notional trading volumes in February, they did that much in January, 5.8 billion. The street's going to look at that number and be like, okay, we know they're going to print revenue. Like it's not a joke. And March is probably going to be higher than that. So they're going to probably do, 30, 40 billion in crypto trading volumes. That means they're going to maybe have $100 million quarter just off crypto. We know that's going to pump. Same thing with Palantir. If they execute these boot camps at scale, and we know their customer count is growing, then we know that revenue is going to go up, which means their 19% growth estimate is BS. Like, it's not going to be 19%. It's going to be a lot more. And that'll be exciting to see how that plays out. Just imagine when Palantir sends out its sales team of humanoid robots. Yeah, I had a CERN basher on the channel today, and we talked about humanoid robots for a good hour. So if anyone wants to check out why I invested in Figure, that dude, the TAM that he gave me conservatively, and we broke down number by number. This was not hodgepodge BS. Like, this is like real numbers. That TAM was $600 trillion. And don't listen to my words. Like, just watch that video, watch him break it down. It's insanity. And there's a lot of reasoning and logic and conservative estimates he's putting in for that TAM. That's what makes me bullish on Tesla. The problem with Tesla is that Elon's Elon right now. And I love Elon, but the street doesn't love him right now. But it will make you a lot more bullish on robots, I feel. Because if that continues the way it continues, yeah, this thing is going to get exciting, dude. This thing is going to get very, very exciting with this TAM. Is Figure public? No, Figure is not public. You could have got 20,000 of Tesla leaps instead. Again, the thing about Tesla is, dude, I've been talking to a couple people this morning. Tesla could see the 150s if their Q1 earnings don't have an update on gross margins in terms of that bottoming, and if they show that growth is going to be lower in terms of volumes and deliveries. We saw what happened to Rivian when they kind of missed on their numbers. If Tesla doesn't actually beat the numbers that they need to give, and they didn't even give guidance for Q1, I don't know, dude. It's going to get ugly. Now, granted, I think 150 would be a generational dip. I think that would be exciting. It would be close to that 100 dip we got in January, but will it happen? I don't know. I don't know. Is there a video on why you invested in Dog with Hat? My friend invested in Dog with Hat, and he's up a lot of money. That's how I found out about it. I didn't FOMO into his investment. I was just like, it's whatever. But let's just say he put in a little bit amount of money, and he made a lot of money. So meme coins are making people rich in this cycle. All right, let's get an update on Jeremy Siegel, or not Jeremy. Well, yeah, let's do Jeremy Siegel. Let's see what he's been saying inflation's dead for a long time. Market has rallied a lot. Let's see his perspective right now on where the macro is going.
Professor, and it's great to have you on this Friday. So you're going to walk away to the weekend thinking what now about this rally?
Well, Scott, when you have trending stocks, when you have momentum stocks, there's a very old saying in Wall Street, and it is up the staircase, down the elevator. And if you take a look at Nvidia and other trending stocks, that's what happens. Momentum players move on. They have very tight stops on it. As long as it's going up, they're there. And as soon as it breaks their trend line, boy, they're out. We have what's called a one-day reversal, new high, then low. My experience is that's rarely the final high for the stock. Usually you have a couple days, mixing on the price, and then it will resume its upward course. So this is something I've seen many times before, and does not scare me.
Okay, so the elevator goes down another floor or two, but then you get back on the escalator and you start going up?
Yeah, to consolidate. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's kind of like a head fake. I mean, playing the momentum play requires a steal, because when it goes down, it's so sharp. You say, "Oh, I'm going to get out," and then what happens? It goes back up to new highs, and you're so angry at yourself for getting out, you get on again, and it goes up another group, and then what happens at the very end? And I don't think we're at that very end. Is you're saying, "Hey, diamond hands, I'm not selling this. It doesn't matter what." Unfortunately, that's usually the very top.
Well, Professor, now you're using some of the lingo from the meme stock mania.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're meme stocks at all, because these are real companies. But take a look at what happened to Cisco in 1999 and 2000. I mean, this was a great company, got overvalued. But we talked about this last time. Could Nvidia get there? Yeah, but it would be at a much higher price to get to what Cisco's evaluation was in 2000.
Sure.
Again, Cisco is trading at like a 80 PE, Nvidia now at a 30, so it's not going to be the easiest for Nvidia for Nvidia to necessarily be overvalued the same way that everyone thinks that it can get overvalued for. So we will see. We will see how it plays out. Rafi says, "How does this guy see?" I always wonder because his eyes are always like closed, like aggressively. I always wonder how but that's the professor. The professor gets the job done no matter what. So, regardless, dude, it's been a hell of a market. All right, I'll be on for like another 10 minutes. We'll do some Q&A and just regular end to the stream. It's a Friday. We usually do Q&A on a Friday. So for those that want to leave, that was the market close for the day. We're done for this whole week. I don't usually stream on Saturdays, and I want to start streaming on Saturdays, just like a fun stream at night on Saturdays. Hold on, let me see my charger real quick. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to start streaming on Saturday nights, just like for fun and like just chill. But that's the end of the market close today. We'll do some Q&A for 10 minutes. I think maybe this Saturday we'll start fun streaming because I want to do a stream where we don't have to like worry about literally covering the second by second on the markets. And Saturday nights are like the best time I think to do it. So maybe we'll start it this week. Maybe Saturday nights we'll just do a fun stream and we'll just fucking talk. Like watch videos, maybe react to some shit. Like just some regular fun stuff. But yeah, that is the market close for today. It's been a hell of a week, dude. It's been a hell of a week. Obviously, some positions did very well. Robinhood did pretty good this week. PayPal is still stuck. I don't understand how PayPal's stuck at $59. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Like the volume of this shit is fucking 17 million shares are traded every day. How does it not move even a penny, dude? It's insane. But other than that, overall, not a horrible week. All right, cool. That would be great. There's no good content on YouTube on the weekends. What's his name? Fuck the dude's name. He just put a biography, a documentary on Trump. John Coogan. He's the same guy who did the documentary on Carp. His videos are pretty high quality, and he put out a documentary on Trump this weekend. Not just like him as a president, but him just as like a person. And so that was one of the things that I thought maybe I'll watch. But yeah, on over the weekend, it's kind of dead. There's nothing that crazy. Now, granted, YouTube has unlimited amounts of content, so you could always find something. But I think streaming will be fun on the weekend. Mark says, don't get overwhelmed. Take time off from it. The fun thing about the weekend is I usually do get to just relax during the day. The weekend is when I don't try to think about the markets, but I'm still on Twitter all day tweeting about the markets. So there's that. But in general, on the weekend, I try not to worry too much about the market. So I think the stream will be fun on the weekend because it's just us talking. So it won't have to be too much about the market. How much Palantir do you own, Amit? About 3,500 shares. About 3,500 shares. I've told you guys, I've had 3,000 for a while, and then over the past couple of months, if you're on Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I just post screenshots here left and right of buys. I didn't buy a lot at 16, 17 before the run up. It was like 30 shares here, 50 shares here. So now as I add to my position, it's, round about that 35. What's the average? About 1530. About 1530. Now, look, I think that average is going to be averaged up pretty aggressively over the coming years. I think I'll probably have like a $22, $23 average because at this point, we didn't know if Palantir could get to even $50 given the growth was anemic. Now that the growth is there, a $20 average, $25 average, like even if you have a $25 average, it doesn't sound crazy at all. It just doesn't sound crazy. Abram says 2,034 shares at 1040. Yeah, it just doesn't sound crazy. The average right now is 1530. 1530. The ironic thing is I was buying at this price in 2021 when it was like $29, $30, 30. I remember my biggest price was $32. I fucking bought Palantir at $32 when it was not worth $32. And obviously, we've made a fun comeback since then. 8,500 shares at 714. Incredible, dude. Absolutely amazing. 8,500 at 714. Not bad at all. Me too, bro, but just DCA. Yep. Just DCA. That's what you got to do. Oh, the BGC2 pod. Yeah, that podcast with Brad, dude. That podcast is amazing. Brad, what's his name? Gerstner. I didn't get to watch it yet, but dude, their podcast is taking off because it's actually enjoyable. You got two people in their prime like legitimately just like doing their thing right here. This has 33,000 views already. I didn't get to watch this thing. It says red, but I didn't actually get to watch it here. So this will be a fun one to listen to as well over the weekend. They came out a day before All In. All In usually comes out on Friday. So we'll see. Is Tesla the only public humanoid robot stock? Yeah, most likely. Now, CERN Basher today on the stream said that Apple's going to play a big role with humanoid robots. So maybe there's some exposure via Apple. But in terms of actually a company making those robots, yeah, it's pretty much Tesla. It's pretty much Tesla. 200 shares at 7. Yeah, like for me, look, the average at this point on Palantir does not matter. I don't think the average matters anymore, dude. I think my position will probably get to a $25 average over the coming years as I just average up, because I just don't think it matters. Like, I'd rather have 5,000-6,000 shares with a higher average than 3,000 shares or 2,000 shares at lower average. It's one of those things where I just don't want to look at. I want to buy it, leave it, and like it is what it is. And everything else I'll look at and I'll obsess over, like options and different positions I have. But Palantir is one of the ones I'm genuinely getting to the point where I'm so at peace of just like buying it and just not caring, just leaving it. That's like the fun part of that story playing out. Averages don't matter in general unless you are calculating the value of your total position. Yeah, would you rather be up 10% on a $100,000 position or up 100% on like a $500 position? You know, like you'd rather be up 10% on a lot more money than 200-300% on a very small, tiny amount of money. So I think position sizing is one of the things I'm learning about that's really important, and it's also one of the things that just matters long term about having, you know, a big position in a company playing out. But that's what I'm thinking right now in the context of Palantir. I sold 1,500 at 24. Yeah, look, it's not the worst sell. I mean, I do think that you want to be careful with the sells if you have a great average. But if you bought in at 23 and sold at 24 and it was a trade for you, then that's fine. It is what it is. I don't blame anyone for taking profits. Bitcoin right now is 69,000. But I do think having a long-term position that you just keep on the side and don't look at, I think is really important. Because over the long term, it's probably going to be worth a lot more. Well, Amit, I'd rather be smart and also not be anxious about FOMO and making sure finances are not an issue in or out of the market. Yeah, the other thing you want to make sure is that if you're investing in any position, that you don't need that money. You don't need to look at that money, right? You don't want to have to sell it or immediately if it gets to a swing, because if you do, then you're just kind of trading it, which is not really the best way to build an overall position. When do you think Palantir will have its Nvidia moment? I think it's going to come up in the next few quarters, dude. I think by Q4 or Q1 2025, we're going to see that, because it's the logic here is that customer count is going to grow exponentially, which will eventually result in revenue growing. And when revenue grows, top line is going to grow, bottom line is going to definitely grow, because the operating margins I think are going to get better and better. Robinhood right now up about 0.5% in the after hours. And so if that happens, dude, I don't know. I think it's going to get to that moment soon enough. Listen to Carp if you're thinking of adding. We can't meet demand. We are winning. Palantir is showing the tip of the iceberg of our product development and what we are going to show more and more and more. Yep. And I don't think Carp is lying about that. I don't think Carp is lying about that at all. So it's fun. Okay, let's play with the new tool I launched today. Let's play with the new tool. Let's do user questions. What do you want to ask Hobbits.ai? What do you want to ask? Again, this is a custom Palantir LLM I launched this week. It costs $42 for the year if you want to subscribe to it. And hopefully it is valuable. What questions should we ask this thing? What could we ask? Let's see what questions. It could be anything about Palantir. It might not have the most exact answers if you ask a super, super hyper specific question, but I think for the majority of questions, it should be fun. So let me know in the chat what we want to ask for this bad boy. And let's see what we get. Does Palantir have any consumer products? Okay, let's ask that. So where is this thing? You guys can see it, right? Can you see it? Yeah. Okay. Does Palantir offer any consumer products? Okay. All right. So Palantir primarily focuses on enterprise versus direct-to-consumer products. No consumer products, defense, intelligence, healthcare, financial services. Their business model centered around data analytics rather than consumer. Now, maybe one day they'll do consumer, but as of now, and Carp kind of hinted to that today, that one day they might do consumer, but right now they're not the most interested in that. What companies in Canada does Palantir deal with? Okay, that's a good one. Let's see. I've never asked this before. What companies in Canada does Canada Am I spelling wrong? Canada. Okay. Does Palantir work with? Let's see what it says. Palantir has a bunch of partnerships in Canada. Oh, I remember these. I haven't looked at these in a while. I remember this. Think DataWorks. Yep, I remember covering that one. That was in like early 2022. Matrina International Supply Chain. I forgot about that. I remember, dude, that was like April 2022. I made that video. It was a long time ago. So Carasoft, that was a more recent one they're working with in Canada. So there's three main companies: Think DataWorks, Matrina, and then Carasoft. These are partnerships that Palantir has to be able to supply them data analytics and supply chain solutions. And see, again, this is the fun thing about this model, dude. These are videos I made years ago that are brought back to life in terms of the actual information on this platform right now. That's the super, super, super fun part about this model, in my opinion, is that there's shit that's just there for a long time. Try Denmark. Okay. What companies is Palantir working with in Denmark? I actually don't know the answer to this question. So, okay. So no Denmark. So either I have not trained it. I definitely haven't trained it on companies with Denmark, or there's just no companies they're working with in Denmark. So that's why there's not that much there. Now they're working with some government entities in Denmark, but not actual commercial companies as well. What customers does Palantir have in Germany? Okay. So what, I guess, customers or companies is Palantir working with in Germany? So it's like a mini Emit in your pocket. Yes, exactly. Catherine Wrights just signed up for it. Catherine, I got you. I think we added like about 254 users. I'm looking at my stats right now today. So thank you for those who have signed up for it. And I would recommend signing up at least. And if you want to pay for it, you can pay for it later, but you do get 10 messages for free where you can just mess around with the model and see what it is. Okay, so Palantir in Germany, they used to work with the state police since 2017. Now I don't think they work with them anymore. And the only other company I know they work with in Germany is Merck KG, but that's like a pharmaceutical company. But the main relationship they have right now is with police in Germany. How many shares? Let's see if it answers this one. How many shares of Palantir does Alex Karp own? It might index the SEC filings. If not, then I have to update it on the SEC filings. Yeah, it doesn't have an answer to that. Let's see how many shares of Palantir are outstanding. This one, it should have an answer to this one. Okay, so this one, it has to file the most recent SEC. Last time it gave me an answer, it said 2.02 billion, which is actually wrong. It's 2.18. So that one probably has to be updated as well. JP, thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you, JP. JP Orthodontics for becoming a YouTube channel member. It means a lot. Thank you for being a member to the channel. See, these are good that you guys are giving me these questions as well, because then I can train the model on this stuff and it gets better and better and better. Someone says, what work does Palantir do in cybersecurity? Okay, so let's ask it that one. Palantir plays a significant role in cybersecurity. Cyber risks, detect intrusions, respond to incidents, analyze data to identify cyber threats. Foundry and Gotham are used for managing cyber risk. Real-time analysis for quick threat and mitigation. Data analytics capabilities are crucial for comprehensive cybersecurity strategies. So, yeah, it's kind of the same basic stuff that Gotham and Foundry do in the particular cybersecurity space. Ask about Israel and Palantir. Okay, so let's ask, why is Palantir so vocal about supporting Israel? Let's see that one. Okay, so Palantir, the reasons it's giving me here are that they have an office in Tel Aviv. They want to fight terrorism. They have a historical stance on democracy and anti-terrorism. Their ethical standpoint sets it different from some tech giants. They have a mission of democratic values. They take a firm stance against terrorism. Their public statements reflect its role as a pivotal player in defense technology. Can you explain Palantir business for dummies? Okay, let's do this. So explain Palantir's business value to me like I'm 5 years old. Let's do that one. Let's see what it says. Imagine you have a big box of Lego blocks, all of different shapes and colors. Now, let's say you want to build a castle, but all the pieces are mixed up. Palantir is like a magical friend who helps you sort through all your Lego blocks quickly and exactly the pieces you need to build your castle. By the way, did you ever play with Legos? I think I had a Lego phase for like a year and then I got out of it. So Palantir is like a helper or finder using the right Lego blocks. You need to find the right Lego piece. This is basically about pattern recognition in data analytics. So that's kind of the core metaphor there. Just like building a Lego castle, Palantir built strong plans with the right pieces of information. Okay, cool. Chris says, great stuff, Amit. What is differentiated between GPT-4 and Bing searches? I think kind of the core thing that differentiates it is that it's trained on data in real time and that it's qualitative, right? So there are some, things you can get from GPT, obviously, because GPT scours the internet, but it's about, would you be willing to use this for the speed and efficiency of a model that's trained on something in and of itself? So I think we're going to see a lot of GPTs over the next coming years that are highly focused on one subsector. Like there's an essay writing GPT called Jenny.ai that is way better than ChatGPT at specifically helping you write your essay because it's custom made for it. So GPT is used in the back end, but in terms of the model itself being trained on just Palantir data, I don't think anything like that exists. And so when I think about the TAM of like a SaaS business like this, I think there's 500 to 1,000 to 1 million people on YouTube and Twitter that care about Palantir. And there's probably 10 to 15 million people globally that care about Palantir as an investor base. I think that number is going to 2 to 3x over the next coming years, which means if you can access, in this case, me as the brand, those people, assuming you get 10, 15% of those people, and then you convert 2 to 3% of them, I think this thing could get 2,000 to 3,000 subscriptions right now, aiming this year to get about 1,000 subscriptions. That would be success to me. If we can get 1,000 people to subscribe, that would be a big deal. So to me, it's a question of, do 1,000 people want highly leveled and trained information on Palantir over something like a Gemini, which is not going to give you the same answers? And I think the answer to that question is yes, but we'll see. We will see. How many times did Karp say AI in 2023? Let's see. I don't think it's going to give an answer, but how many times did Palantir's Alex Karp mention AI in 2023? I don't think it's going to give an answer to that, but let's see. Yeah, I do not have an answer. That's an Easter egg, though. I'll train it on that. That's a fun Easter egg. Let's do this one. Tell me about Palantir's net income trends for every quarter since they went public. Let's see what it says to that. Okay, see, this is the stuff that I think Gemini and GPT are just not that strong at, because this model is very quick because it's trained on this info. So you see this right here from Q4 2020 to Q4 2023, it immediately tells me how much they lost and how much they made. And again, it's just trained on so much data. It's so quick that like we can access that in real time. So Q4, we lost 148 million. Q4 2023, we made 93 million. And so again, that's the fun part about this. It's like it's trained quickly, it can give answers quickly, and then it gives you a lot of answers. Here's some other stuff that I think we can ask it as well. Let's do Tesla. How is Tesla and Palantir, or what are the potential links between Tesla and Palantir? Let's just see what it says. It's not going to be able to run a DCF and give you intrinsic value. Eventually it will. I'm adding a bunch of APIs that'll make it answer that stuff in real time, but right now that's not doing that. Okay, so we got a bunch of things. Firstly, Palantir's expertise in data analytics could be beneficial for Tesla's supply chain. Secondly, Palantir's real-time analytics could be a game changer for SpaceX. We know that Palantir is working with Starlink to an extent in Ukraine. I mean, that's kind of an open rumor that's there. Predictive maintenance is crucial. Tesla solar and battery systems, that's also a link. Research and development, that's also a link. So here's a bunch of different sort of ways that Tesla and Palantir could be working together themselves. Let me ask you, is Chris Patel bullish on Palantir? Is Chris Patel, I don't think it, I trained it on a lot of stuff, but I don't think it's going to have an answer on that. Oh, wow, it has an answer. Holy crap, it has an, it actually has an answer for that. Okay, so the funny thing is, it says Chris is bullish, but the problem, look at this. This is hilarious. In summary, Chris Patel's position on Palantir is generally bullish, reflecting optimism about the company's prospects despite his inherent skepticism, which serves as a balanced approach to evaluating the company's potential and stock performance. So Chris is, it's actually correct. Chris is bullish on Palantir. He just doesn't like the valuation right now. So it says I love how it's saying Patel. Patel's skepticism reflects a nuanced view of the company's valuation growth trajectory. His stance suggests confidence in Palantir's ability to capitalize. He is bullish on the company. He likes Palantir. He just does not like the valuation. So this is actually correct. Patel's views are likely based on Palantir's resilience in a volatile tech market. Dude, that's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. I actually figured that out. Can you ask the bot about the connection between Palantir and Anduril? Okay, let's do that. Can you tell me about any connections between Palantir and Anduril. Let's see what it got. Palantir and Anduril are both the prominent players in the defense technology sector. They share a common lineage through their co-founders. That's true. The co-founders of Anduril are Palantir dudes. So it's so sad Palantir doesn't have equity in Anduril, but like imagine if Palantir had equity in Anduril, dude, if they just invested in them when they were like a dinky little startup. That would have been so dope, dude. That would have been so dope. Okay, so Trey Stevens, a co-founder of Palantir. Both companies operate in the defense tech space. The companies share a philosophy of integrating technology. Anduril has been valued at $7.1 billion, so that's the valuation it shows me on Anduril. They both have innovative approaches for government and defense applications. The insights gained from Palantir's early challenges in securing government contracts have been instrumental for Anduril. That's actually very true because Anduril didn't have to go through the bureaucracy that Palantir went through because Palantir went through it. Stevens had applied lessons from Palantir's initial struggles to Anduril strategy, helping the latter navigate the complexities of government contracts. All right, cool. Amit, asking what would happen to the price of Palantir if the U.S. went to war. Okay. Let's just say, how would Palantir benefit if the United States went to war? Because if I say stock price, it might not give me an answer. All the models that are out there, they just don't want to answer anything about stocks. Okay, if the United States were to engage in a war, companies like Palantir that specialize in defense and intelligence software could potentially see an increase in demand for their services. That's correct. It's basically saying increase in demand. Gotham would be increase in demand. Supply chains, logistics, management, all in a war scenario, efficient resource allocation and supply chain coordination are essential. Yeah, dude, if we went to a war, it's not good for the broader markets, but Palantir might be the one stock that like surges if that happens because, you know, wars are kind of good for a company like Palantir. Now, I don't think anyone wants a war, but it's a question of preventing a war, which also might help Palantir, which is what also might help Palantir's demand, right? That's why geopolitically NATO might get more for Palantir. What do Palantir employees eat for lunch? You know, I actually went to the Palantir offices. They had a chicken and rice when I was there. I had lunch with one of their employees a while ago. So it's an open like snack bar. Like it's one of those typical tech companies that just has unlimited drinks and shit. But that day I had chicken and rice. So wasn't anything that crazy. Is Palantir part of Palantir? Let's ask about Peter Thiel. Why did Peter Thiel create Palantir? Let's just see what it says. Let's see what it has to say. Chicken biryani. It's chicken biryani. All right, so it'll go in depth about 9/11, civil liberties, all of that fun stuff. Let's do something that just happened. So tell me or summarize to me what the main points were in Alex Karp's latest keynote at AIPCon 3. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, cool. So we have AIPCon 3 keynote. I trained it last night on this stuff, so it's up to date with it. And yeah, pretty much there you go. It's talking about what he said in regards to AI. One of the things Karp said yesterday that was so funny is he was like, Palantir employees haven't won a lot in high school, which was super funny. I asked the question this morning and the model referenced that because basically every employee in high school for Palantir was a nerd like me. So you don't win a lot, right, in sports and all this stuff. Now, I did debate and that was a different competitive world and that was super fun for me. But a lot of people that are nerds don't end up winning a lot. So that's what you got. Anyway, that's the model. You can check it out. I'm putting it again in the chat. Try it out, see what it looks like. And then, yeah, if you want to upgrade, it's $42 a year to try it out and have the model be your virtual assistant when it comes to Palantir. There you go. Could you expand your product to analyze other companies like Robinhood, Nvidia, Tesla? Dude, I want to do that. The problem is I don't think there's enough to talk about with those companies. Like that's basically building a Bloomberg GPT, which is like super cool. But the problem with the Bloomberg GPT is that Bloomberg's already building that, right? So there's not a real competitive differentiation there. And then on top of that, Robinhood, SoFi, Nvidia, they have a lot of news, but they don't have the type of news that Palantir has. The type of news Palantir has to me is super like, it's something that people want to ask a ton of questions about because there's just so much that's happening. Definitely like the fintech, dude. SoFi and Robinhood, like you're not going to ask a SoFi model all day about the NBA partnership. No one gives a fuck. Like no one cares that much, you know. But there's a lot of other areas that I think with Palantir, it's a lot more exciting. And so that's why I think I think it's one of those things that, for Palantir community in particular, it's exciting. And also the Palantir community is a community that actually wants more up-to-date content. There's like I don't know how many communities for stocks. And also Nvidia's already run. Like Palantir is just beginning. To me, the reason it's important to start this now is because I think this model can grow over the next 5-6 years as Palantir's story is built out, right? That's why it's super fun to see, where it takes out. Someone says Airbus. Yeah, let's ask it about Airbus. How has Palantir worked with Airbus? And again, try it out yourselves. Just ask a bunch of random questions. There's a ton of different things that it can say around Airbus. So right here, it's telling me about Skywise. It's telling me about why it works with Skywise, what the core of Skywise is, and ultimately how Skywise and Palantir have implications together. There's a lot of cool stuff you can ask it, and it can go. Your shirt seriously grows. This is the shirt that what's his name? Ryan sent to me. So we've got the white Palantir shirt. It's not as tight as Carp shirt. We got to get it tighter, but it is a white shirt. Palantir has helped Airbus tires stay on the plane. Dude, did you guys see the Boeing shit that happened today? Boeing, not only yesterday, their tires a danger. I just saw your meme on Twitter. That's hilarious. Not only did their tires run off the runway, but they also had a different problem this morning in Houston. That was last night. They had an issue. And then in Houston, they had a failed takeoff or something. I'm trying to pull up that tweet. It's really bad, dude. Like the 737 is the same one that's having an issue. And I'm taking a flight soon to New Orleans in a couple weeks. And I just don't know if that shit's a 737 because that thing is crazy, dude. So this is Boeing 737 MAX. What the heck is going on with Boeing? They just rolled off a Houston runway. So my wife told me about the Boeing. Yeah, dude, the Boeing thing it's weird, bro. It's super weird. Once you get ripped, the shirt will be tight. That's true. Once I get ripped, the shirt will be tight. I love how Twitter says there's 2,000 people watching. Like, we know that's not happening, Twitter. We know it's not. Twitter is so annoying with this shit. I don't know. I really think Elon's either juicing the fucking numbers or he's trying to, there's a massive bug, but it's so weird that they're saying that. Ahmed, ask it if Palantir should partner with Boeing. Okay, let's see. That's a good one. Let's see. Let me do that. Should Palantir partner with Boeing? Let's see if it gives a response. Okay, so it basically says we worked with Airbus before. Boeing is a huge company. It's basically saying yes. It's saying there's no public information on this, but if they work together, that would be good. So, dude, Boeing needs some freaking Palantir. Boeing needs some freaking Palantir. It really does. It really does. That's not watchers on Twitter. It's only the people who saw it in their feed. The problem is Twitter is basically saying it's people who are live. Like they said that for Tucker Carlson last night. They said 1.5 million people are live. It's like, no, it's not, dude. Like, that's just wrong. That's completely wrong. That's not the case. Like, look, it says 1.5 thousand people are live. Like, they got to reach it. And it wasn't doing this 2 days ago. For the past 2 months, it was saying like 40, 50 people. I'm like, all right, cool. That's normal. That's reasonable. You don't expect there to be 1,000 people on Twitter. But now it's just saying, hey, you have 1.5 thousand live. It's like, no, we don't. Like, stop lying, dude. I get what you're trying to do, Elon, but still, who's the car company Palantir is working with? Okay, let's ask it that. What car companies are Palantir working with? Let's see if it comes up with something. You can't ask when Palantir will reach 100 because that's stock advice. It's just going to say I don't have an answer for that. Okay, so we've got Ferrari. We've got JD Power, which is a big automotive data company. Stellantis as well. So we got three main ones: Ferrari, Stellantis, and JD Power. And see, this is my thing. I think this, because it's trained on this info, it'll come up with the answer immediately versus some of the other chatbots here. And then the question just becomes, is $40 a year worth having access to this immediately? And I think for the people who really care about Palantir, yes. For everyone else, probably not. And so that's kind of the idea here. Ask if Palantir can help me retire. The thing about retirement, I was talking to someone the other day. Retirement's boring. Retirement is boring. And I think even if people want to retire, they're going to want to work and do something if you retire. Now, if you hate your job, you probably want to retire. But the question is, do you want to be on a beach all day? Like, I don't know if I could just not do anything all day. Like, I don't know if I can, like Jim Cramer, dude, he's still covering the markets at whatever, however, like you got to have something to do during the day. And if you're just retired, I feel like there's not that much stuff to do. You have to find something that gives you purpose throughout the day. So at least for me, I think most people, they would be bored when they retire. They wouldn't just be excited to retire. Zocold's like, I would be able to do nothing. He's like, I could sit on my ass all day. I don't care. It's like, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Ask it why Palantir is better than Snowflake. Let's ask it that. That's a funny one. Why is Palantir more of an attractive product than Snowflake? Let's see what it says. Danger says not retired, just CEO at unemployed LLC. Exactly. That's what it is. Palantir's attractiveness compared to Snowflake can be attributed to several factors, and then it goes all into it. It's really talking about specialized applications. That's the difference between this and Snowflake. Let's ask it. Let's do the Edwin one. Why did Edwin from the Bear Cave not do well in the Palantir debate? Let's see if it answers. The debate between Edwin Dorsey of the Bear Cave and proponents of Palantir Technologies highlighted the complexity of evaluating companies like Palantir. One reason Dorsey may have faced challenges in the debate is because of the understanding Palantir's business. It's basically saying Dorsey was an idiot, but it says Dorsey's perspective is more to a consulting firm. Like, does Edwin Dorsey still believe Palantir is a consulting firm? And I don't mean to be aggressive here or say he's a bad person or anything like that. I'm just saying he really just said a lot of nonsense in that debate. It's the same stuff Rishi is saying right now. And it's weird. It's very weird itself. Because I don't know how Palantir is a consulting firm, dude. I feel like that argument's dead. It's just an idiotic thing to say. Same thing with Chicken Genius today, saying Palantir is the worst AI play. It's just like, there's no logic there. A consulting firm does not have 84% gross margins and 35% operating margins. I don't think so. He couldn't define ontology. That's correct. He couldn't. Ask it, why does Amit love Palantir? I wonder if it'll have an answer for that. Let's see. Why does Amit love Palantir? Oh, wow. It has something. Amit's enthusiasm for Palantir is attributed to several things. Okay, it got the main answer right. Oh, wow. It got this really right, dude. Moreover, Amit may be drawn to the philosophical aspects of Palantir approach to data. The company's use of the term ontology in a technological context, which traditionally belongs to philosophy, suggests a thoughtful consideration of the natures and implications of data. Yeah, this thing definitely got trained off the right videos for this question. This is good. That's exactly why I'm interested into it. That ontology word fucking got me in heavy. Okay, cool. I think we're done for today. We will have Palantir Weekly tonight, 11 p.m. I'm pretty sure. If we don't, I'll let you guys know on Twitter. But I'm pretty sure we have Palantir Weekly tonight because we got to talk about AIPCon. So we'll have that tonight. We'll discuss everything going on from there. Probably we'll stream Saturday just for fun, unless I get super busy on Saturday, maybe up with family. But if not, then Saturday we'll be streaming live. And that's it. Fun week in the markets. Fun. Dylan says, Amit just started watching and love your energy. Thank you, Dylan. I know we got a lot of people that joined the channel over the past couple of weeks. So thank you all for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoy the live stream every day. I love doing this thing every day. It's the most fun thing in the world. And it's fun to just keep building and like wake up every morning and do this. It's fun. All right. Thank you, everybody. This was super, super fun. Hobbits.ai. Make sure you sign up. Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. I'll put the Hobbits Twitter here so you guys can check it out in the chat. And we have 498 followers on Twitter for Hobbits. So thank you to 498 people that followed. And we'll see you guys on Monday for the market open and keep it going from there. My Twitter right here in the chat. Ryan says, nice shirt. Ryan, it's your shirt. So thank you. I appreciate it, Ryan. I appreciate it a lot. And then, yeah, that's it. Monday morning, I'll see you guys tonight, Palantir Weekly. And that's it. Enjoy your weekend. Get some rest. Go with your family. Get some good food. Don't stare at Bitcoin all weekend, even though it's going to be tempting to stare at Bitcoin all weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday morning. All right, that's it. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. See you later tonight. If not, Monday morning. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. Good night.